going to be, this is probably like my second favorite. Of course, you know, I got to say the pinwheels are my first favorite.
Yep.
But this is definitely another one of my favorites that we have here tonight on the show.
So this is item number M76060. It's the Rastelli's 10 5-ounce reserve filet mignons with butter and spices. So there's really nothing here that you have to guess to do. Everything's going to be served to you. It's $169.50 or 5 easy payments of $33.90. And foodies, please remember, this is reserve. Only 4% of the cattle in all of our nation earn the right to be called reserve. It's the finest of the finest. It never comes frozen to us. It's always fresh. We cut them to portion, and I'm going to show you what we do with that. And then we blast freeze it, and we send it to your door. They have a 1-year shelf life. You can defrost it in your fridge overnight, or you can put them in cold water 30 minutes in case some extra company comes over you didn't expect, in the package for 30 minutes, and they'll defrost easy. One of the secrets Ray always tells us is make sure when you're cooking any type of beef, let it sit for 30 seconds, no,
yes,
30 minutes,
30 minutes, right?
outside, and then you're ready to go. So these are what we're looking at. These are the 5-ounce reserve pieces. Let's start with that first. Let me grab a fork from behind me.
Thank you.
We'll come up here.
Wow. This looks beautiful. This looks like something I would get if I went out to a steakhouse, Tony.
It's so, just as I cut it, it is so easy to cut because it is so tender that we start with that beautiful reserve beef.
I'm going to put some of this butter right here on top. Oh, look at that.
Let the heat of the steak start to melt that in. But I'm going to press lightly on this because then you can see. Sometimes the filet mignons tend to be a little bit on the dry side. This is not because of that 45-day aging process.
Yes.
It allows it to keep its moisture on the inside. And then the flavor on these are incredible. You can basically cut it with a fork. And then this is Ray's personal favorite garlic butter. So everything that we give you is what we actually serve to our own family. That garlic butter will melt in. You can put it on top as a finishing. You can put it in the bottom of your skillet and pan sear with it. You can add it to those butterfly shrimp.
Oh, yeah, that sounds. You can do a little surf and turf.
Absolutely.
Butterfly shrimp and the Rastelli Reserve fillets. That
Absolutely.
would be a really impressive dinner for someone.
Can I go over the beef?
Absolutely. Please tell me more. Tell me, like, what is Verstelli Reserve? Like, where does this item come from? What is a fillet, if I don't know?
Absolutely. So I want you to look at this piece of beef because what we did is we've taken the tenderloin, okay, and we've trimmed it completely so it doesn't have any fat. You could actually eat this from tip to tip. And then what Ray does, he calls it a reserve. He goes right to the center cut of the meat. So I'm going to cut this here. I'm going to cut that there. And this is what you're getting. These are where the 5-ounce portions are cut from. You can see the marbling that's inside that meat. That marbling means flavor. And you can do this pretty much any way you like, whether you're barbecuing, put them in a grill.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love this. Is amazing. Look at this. You can literally, it is center cut. It is 100% edible. There is no waste. You're going to be eating this filet from end to end. And I do want to show everyone how this comes package, like all of our Verstelli products. This comes individually vacuum sealed for freshness. It will last in your freezer for 12 months. It's not going to last as long because these are going to fly out of your fridge. I promise you that. But it can be eaten from end to end, which is just
the key
incredible.
To it. And 5 ounces, you know, when you go to get this in a restaurant, you're going to pay money for it, and rightfully so. Because again, only 4% of the cattle in our nation qualify to be called reserve. This was always Ray's favorite secret that he would give on the holidays, you know this, birthdays, special occasions. That little bit of butter on that.
I dropped the butter right in the front of your steak.
That's okay.
Here. It's so good. It's melting right off of it.
And that's exactly what you want. It just gives it that little bit of roasted garlic flavor with the butter. We normally would do that in a skillet in a pan. Let me take this one because you also get Ray. You want to talk about the Ray's?
Yeah, absolutely.
Spices?
So what we have here is we have our Verstelli signature seasoning blend. We have formulated the special for our Verstelli items. This is Ray's special blend. It pairs perfectly with our Verstelli Reserve filet mignons. Normally what I like to do is I like to take this and I like to season the steaks and then I sear them. Or you could sprinkle it as a little finishing at the end like you're doing here. And I mean, it just adds that little flavorfulness to it. I mean, this filet mignon is delicious and flavorful enough on its own, but it gives it a little bit something extra, which I love for my family.
It truly is, and you can see that to camera. The texture of this meat and the flavor of the meat, I mean, it's reserve. You can't get any better of a label than that. Really, really proud of this. And this comes from Ray's family, friends.
Yep.
all the farmers that he works with and ranchers that he's had relationships for over
Exactly.
45 years. That's a mind-blowing number, 45 years.
I think it's so crazy. Like, this is our Verstelli Reserve Black Angus Filet Mignon. Like Tony had mentioned, only 4% of cattle qualify for this quality and line of product. And put that into perspective, that means 4 out of every 100 cattle are good enough for us to say, you know what, this is good enough, there can be a part of our reserve line. And without that, you know, they're just a regular one. Wait, what are you doing over here? This looks amazing, Tony.
Well, what I did is I took one out of the package and I cut them into cubes and I'm putting them on the skewer and I'm going to make filet mignon kebabs.
That looks amazing.
So let me just show this to you. And that's not even the whole steak. There's still 2 more pieces on the plate. But what you can do is make them into kebabs, hit them with your favorite spice. Hopefully it is the Rastelli spice, because
it definitely is. In my house, it definitely is.
And then what I like to do is I cook them first on the grill on one side.
Yeah.
And then as you see, like you mentioned earlier, the moisture coming up, that's when you put on the seasoning.
Okay.
Give it a turn, and they're absolutely delicious. And if you notice, I didn't put any vegetables. I want the meat.
Yeah, exactly. No veggies, all meat. So here is actually some footage of our Verstelli Reserve Black Angus cattle. As you can see, they're free range, they're grazing in the fields. And like we always say, with Verstelli, everything goes back to the quality. We only bring you the best quality, quality that you can know and quality that you trust. And that's why we have such a beautiful filet mignon for you here today with our Verstelli Reserve 10 5-ounce filet mignons with our roasted garlic and herb butter. This is an item you would typically see on a menu at a steakhouse, and this is not a steakhouse price, okay? This is 5 easy payments of $33.90.
Yes.
You'd be paying well over $65 for one of these steaks at your local steakhouse. So really, the value is huge here, Tony.
Absolutely. And again, you're getting 10 5-ounce reserve filet mignons.
Yes.
You're getting the Rastelli family seasoning and spices. You're getting 3.5 ounces of raised special garlic butter.
Exactly.
And
you're getting our favorite, the meat Bible, as Ray likes to call it. This is our Rastelli meat cooking guide. It has all of our tips and tricks in here for how to best prepare your steaks, so you don't have to worry. If you're not a chef like Tony, you're just a regular mom like me, I go to this. This is my go-to. It tells me how to thaw, how to cook for the right temperature. Oh my gosh, this is a beautiful filet mignon. Tony, how long should we be cooking this for if we went for this medium temperature?
you know, if you want this texture you see here, 3.5 minutes per side.
Amazing.
If you want them a little more well done like Vivian likes it, it's about 4.5 minutes per side.
Okay, that's incredible.
Look at the moisture. It's filet mignon. You don't get any better than that.
That is beautiful. And this isn't just any filet mignon. This is our Rastelli's Reserve Black Angus Filet Mignon. You're getting it with our roasted garlic and herb butter. Father's Day is so soon. I mean, I'm 100% sending this to my father-in-law. I'm sorry if you see this, Dad. The surprise is ruined. You're getting this in the mail. It's available to you today for 5 easy payments of $33.90. It's item number M7606. That's the Rastelli's 10 5-ounce reserve filet mignons with our roasted garlic.